We have you for a few more minutes. I want to ask you this. They think it's a guy that started this company, Glenn Beck's, in some hot water. He shared some clips saying they're manipulating the weather. That's not a conspiracy. They have cloud seeding technology. I mean, I think this is open. Why are they going after people for saying that they're manipulating the weather? Do you think that's what they're doing?
Well, do you want to play the clip?
Let's play the clip,
yeah,
Jimmy. My producer, Jimmy. Sorry, I'll call him JVT. Let's play the clip.
About climate change yesterday, and now we're learning that scientists and researchers are looking at how to change the weather on purpose. That's right, lasers now could one day manipulate rain and lightning. CBS This Morning contributor Michio Kaku is a physics professor at City College of New York. Professor, nice to see you. Extraordinary seeing Al Gore and Bill Clinton there together with Charlie, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, they did not get into this discussion,
no.
though. But it is fascinating. I mean, lasers, really, to change the weather?
That's right. Well, as Mark Twain once famously said, everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it. Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially a game changer.
But this is experimental.
It's experimental. However, in the laboratory so far it works. When you have water vapor and you have dust particles or ice crystals, you can precipitate rain. It condenses around the seeds. These seeds can also be created by laser beams. By firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electrons, creating what are called ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning.
That sounds pretty intense, that they can use trillion-watt lasers to make rain fall out of the sky. Are we tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists for saying that the government could create some sort of geoengineered weather to make it look bad in order to usher in a climate change agenda?
You're saying that scientists have figured out how to manipulate the weather? What are you, Michio Cuckoo? Are you? Come on. Yeah, I think what I think is funny is how they try to make you think like you're some kind of crazy conspiracy theorist when they've all talked about it on their news shows already. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just one TV news show that I'm sure all of them have had segments on how they're doing cloud seeding, as they call that, and they try to I've seen testimonies back as far as the late 50s that they were already working on this and had plans for that. And there was I don't know the veracity of it, but I saw a colonel talk about how they did this in Vietnam and how they washed out some of the roads. I mean, I've seen those videos. I don't know. Again, I can't attest to the veracity of them, but this isn't anything new. They've been working on this for a long, long time, and to the point where they have a scientist talking about it on corporate news. That means they've been working at it for a very long time. And so. They have to make people think it's crazy, just like they had to make you think that it was a real vaccine. They had to make you think that, even though they had to change the definition in the goddamn dictionary of what a vaccine is, and then you're crazy if you think it's not. And then they have to tell you that, no, of course you catch this the disease that you've been vaccinated for.
Yeah, testing positive means it's working. Yes, testing positive for COVID means it works. Yes.
Yeah, just like how we all got polio after we got the polio vaccine. That which just lessens your symptoms.
That doesn't sound right. That's weird. Okay, but actually, I want to go back to the real quick. You said Vietnam War, and I've watched some documentaries, but I just remember in Forrest Gump that it rained and rained and rained, and then it stopped raining. So maybe they were manipulating the weather because Forrest Gump wouldn't lie. Is that a good theory? Is that accurate in your opinion?
I think that's just as solid as anything I've heard from Anderson Cooper lately. That's for sure.
Well, we know he's a CIA plant. Okay, and then look at this. We want to pray for the victims of Florida. I don't know if you saw this. I think it's full screen one, Jimmy. Look at this. This whole building's upside down in Florida. Can you believe this?
How? Oh my God.
I know. We got to pray for Florida.
That's not a movie set. That's real.
It's a Ripley's Believe It or Not, but I think it really did get flipped upside down from the storm. So let's pray for all the people out there in Florida. Jimmy, what should we expect? Trump wins, there's going to be chaos. Trump loses, there's going to be chaos. I know that you're not clairvoyant, but where do you see this country heading in 30 days or a little less than 30 days? We won't know the results probably for a couple weeks after. Seems like they're acting calm. I think the shit is about to hit the metaphorical fan, and a bunch of weird stuff's going to happen in the next couple months. And I hope I'm wrong, but I have a strong inkling that might be a possibility in the near future.
Well, I think people are waking up to the fact that our country's run by a handful, a cabal of billionaires for their own interests. And the proof of it is when Kamala Harris is so dense that she brags about sending hundreds of millions of dollars to Lebanon for humanitarian aid in the middle of Hurricane Helene, when people aren't getting the aid and the relief that they need from their own. Again, it's the same thing over and over. They're putting migrants up in hotels while veterans are sleeping under bridges. People are starting to catch on. We're funding both sides of the war in Lebanon. We're giving billions of dollars to Israel to bomb them, and then we're going to send hundreds of millions of dollars in economic aid. People are catching on that we're hollowing out our own country, and we're sending hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine. Imagine if we sent hundreds of billions of dollars to America. Imagine what we could have in America for just $100 billion. It's amazing. They say you could end homelessness for $20 billion. I don't know if that's true, but let's say it is. So for $100 billion, they could have ended homelessness, then started it again, then said, hey, we were just kidding, and then ended it again. They also could have bought a dog that would lead Joe Biden off stage when he's done giving his speech. There's so many things we could have bought with that $100 billion. But anyway, I think people are catching on. What's going to happen after the election is if Kamala Harris wins and Trump loses, I bet you Trump supporters say that the election was stolen, and then they're going to try to overthrow the government again, but they're all going to forget to bring their guns again. I bet they were embarrassed that first time. They didn't bring guns, but they did bring mittens, and you know how lethal those can be. Really, a bunch of guys in pajama bottoms and buffalo helmets stealing a podium. I'm overthrowing the government. They were just pissed off protesters. I can't believe the propaganda in America is the most propagandized people in the world are Americans. And the fact that they don't think they're a victim of propaganda shows you how good. That's when you know it's good propaganda.
Yeah, I know. When I saw patriots smoking weed inside the Capitol, I really thought they were going to be able to overtake it. They were more worried about getting, their munchies satisfied than they were. And they were able to reconvene in 3 hours and certify the election. So that's what pisses me off the most, is that the fact that they can just pretend like it's the last. It's as bad as 9/11, which is absolutely absurd. Okay, and then one last.
My grind so refined, I got no time for no games.